You left me drowning when I asked you, please stay.
You didn't try, honey. I'm sorry to say that.
I wasn't asking you to babysit me.
Yeah, you want that.
When we started talking, she made me laugh so much, and she was so funny.
Do you think she's a clown?
Yeah.
Free clown. Okay.
You translate, asking my daughter what happened, and I don't want you to know because this, I think, is not your business. It's something about me and the kids.
I can't believe my mom thinks that Andy will gonna propose. That's crazy. We only just met.
I know you told us to wait, but I can't leave the Philippines without asking Arrah to marry me.
Y'all, Andy and Phin are not listening. They're literally just bulldozing their way through all of these milestones and all of this fake progress, faux progress that they're making. I don't believe it for 1 minute. I am side-eyeing everyone in this episode. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiancé UK. You guys, I have a secret to tell you. This is my second time filming this video. The mic was not picking up my voice. You can hear my fan. It was a lot. I filmed it before work and I was like, what am I gonna do? And I thought that I was gonna push through. I even made a little intro for you guys being like, I'm sorry, I'll do better. But I kept thinking about it all day yesterday and I was like, I can't give the people a low quality video. I'm like so paranoid right now as we speak. I'm like, is this mic gonna pick up my voice? I hope so. I don't have it in me to give you the same material 3 times. By the 3rd time, it's not gonna be funny. I'm not gonna have any energy, but I really wanna keep up with these stories with you. So here we are, 2nd attempt. Pray for me. As always, before we get into it, do make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you're new here. Y'all, we're gonna start this with Arrah&Andy. So he has been here, I don't know for how long, maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, but he's been going all over the Philippines, getting to know Arrah, getting to know her family, sightseeing, trying street foods. Lovely, lovely first visit with your girlfriend that you're just meeting. Love that. Even though they spent however many days together, this is a stranger and her loved ones want to meet him, so she's going to take him to a restaurant to meet her best friend Erica. And she starts this by saying, oh, no worries, she's not going to be as scary as my mom. She was lying. Her friend was scary and I was here for it, okay? Because the first thing she asks Andy is, so why are you dating internationally? He's like, oh, you know, I haven't had much luck in the UK. And I wish that he would have stopped there because then he gives her the story that he has said a few times. And I think that he thinks that the story is endearing, but it is not. He's like, oh, you know, I spent a lot of time in the hospital. A lot of my nurses were from the Philippines and they were lovely. So I thought, why not find love there? And her friend is like, you could tell she did not like that. I don't like that. And I'm not from the Philippines. So I was like, ugh. Arrah really needs to tell him that he needs to switch up that story, right? Then she asks him, what do you like about Arrah? And he's like, oh, she makes me laugh a lot. And Erica was like, oh, so you think she's a clown? A free clown you have, huh? You could see Andy like tensing up a little bit and Arrah is noticing that. And instead of, you know, leaning in and facilitating the conversation, she leaves him alone again. She did that with her mom too. And I don't know if that's like one of her moves as a test, but I'm like, girl, you really have to pee every time you leave him in the thick of it? But while Arrah is at the bathroom, he's like, listen, I really do love her and I really do see a future with her. And she's like, yeah, so please don't rush things. You guys just met, get to know each other. And it's like, he didn't hear a thing that she said because he's like, yeah, well, you know, I really do love her and I plan on proposing by the end of this trip. She's like, you guys just met. That's too soon.
Before I leave the Philippines, I'm going to propose and I want to spend the rest of my life with her.
And it just, that it's too fast. Married life is very different.
He's not listening. And I'm noticing that this is like a trend. We saw it with her mom when he was like, so can I get your blessing? And she said no. He's smiling and nodding politely, but it's like nothing is behind the eyes. He's so decided on making this move, and he's completely dismissing everyone in her life. These people know her way better than you do. If they're telling you to pump the brakes, that would be a sign for me. I would be thinking, what is Arrah telling them that she's not telling me? And that would make me pump the brakes. Also, people have proposed at crazy rates on this show, but I feel like with their situation, I think that it should be handled delicately. And I understand his need for wanting love. I understand that a lot of people don't deal well with being lonely. I understand all of those things, but I think it's insanely selfish to completely dismiss everyone's feelings, her feelings, just because you want to lock it in. Because now I'm side-eyeing Andy, like, why are you trying to lock it in? Like, what's the rush? What are you hiding? Because you guys don't know each other. It's better to learn about each other, see how you handle conflict, see how you handle things when they're sick. Just, you have to see each other in different situations before you rush to marriage. I'm trying to think, like, why is he rushing? He seems to have a really good job. He could probably afford to come to the Philippines again. Probably not physically. I'm sure it's going to take a toll. But he could, you know, get her to do a travel visa and have her come visit the UK. Like, there's no need to rush this. So I was cringing the whole time, honestly. Like, even if he proposed the second trip, I'd be like, okay, well, at least they had a moment to have this trip, have some moment to process this, and then come together. But just like the rush of it, no, okay? And then we see them hang out with her family again. I'm thinking it's his final dinner before he leaves the Philippines. And he's with the family. He knows that family time is really important to her. Arrah's mom is like, oh, how has it been here? And he's like, you guys are loud, but I'm gonna miss it. And she's like, oh, well, now you're part of this loud family. And I thought that that was so sweet, but only enabling his delusion. He fakes being sick and then goes outside of the restaurant, but then we see that he like gestures to her mom, and then her mom steps out. Before the mom steps out, we see a glimpse of the back of a car where he has had this little setup that says, marry me. He's holding the box with the ring, and he like tells her mom, hey, yeah, so, you know, I'm leaving soon, and I would really like to propose to her with your blessing. And the mom is like, oh, you're trying to propose now? And he's like, yeah. And here's the thing. That setup tells me that he was going to propose with or without her blessing. So for him to prepare that and then be like, oh, can I still get your blessing, is wild. And again, proving that he's not picking up cues. He's not listening. I don't even think he's had a conversation with Arrah about this. He's just jumping into the deep end. And it's so inconsiderate. That's the energy that I'm getting, you guys. If you guys disagree, please let me know in the comments. But I'm not finding any of his gestures to be sweet or to be genuine. I'm just not getting that because of the thirstiness that he's doing it. So before she answers, we get a snapshot of like 24 hours ago where the mom is having a conversation with Arrah, and she's trying to get a temperature check about how Arrah's feeling. And she's like, you know, he's really serious about you. And she's like, yeah, you know, I'm really enjoying getting to know him and, you know, seeing how things go. And the mom is like, yeah, well, I think he's going to propose. He's really serious about you. And Arrah looks disgusted, like at the idea, because she's like, there's no way. It's way too soon. We barely know each other. He's not even thinking about doing that. Like, why would you say that? That was her energy. But the whole time, her mom was trying to, like, give her hints. It's happening. That he's come locked and loaded, ready to propose. So then they pan back to present day, and the mom says, yes, I've gotten to know you, and, you know, I believe that you love my daughter. So she's given him the blessing. But I think that Arrah is going to be so blindsided by this. I went into this wanting to protect Andy, but now I want to protect Arrah. I feel like after we met her in the Philippines, I think that she's very genuine. I think from day one, she told him, let's see how it goes. Let's see how we feel about each other. Does that sound like someone that wants to be proposed to first visit? Because I don't think so. Anyway, you guys, let's move on to Phin and Sandra. So these two go to like a rooftop, just, you know, on their lonesome. And he wants to get to the bottom of the thing that her sister told him, which is that Sandra wants to have more children. He is repulsed by the idea, and also he has a bone to pick with her. So they sit down and he's like, I felt abandoned by you yesterday. And she's like, I didn't abandon you. You made no effort to learn the language and you didn't want to mingle with my family. Like, you didn't put in an effort. He's like, oh, you just left me by myself. It's not like I'm asking you to babysit me. And she's like, no, you did want me to babysit you. And I'm so glad that she did not let him guilt trip her, because that's exactly what he wanted. He found a couch in a corner and wanted to hide there. Didn't only just want to hide there, he wanted her to be attached at the hip, no matter what, in a room filled with her family. I really like how she handled this conversation. I don't think she was rude. I do think that she was direct. She's not gonna mother a grown-ass man. Also agree that he has had 2 years to learn something of the language. I do not expect this man to be fluent in Portuguese, but some, day-to-day phrases to be able to converse with her family. And also, if you didn't want to feel, alone with them and trying to navigate a conversation, he could have literally followed her around the room, eat some food, have some laugh, and her family was definitely trying to extend a hand, and he had his guard up. That's something that he's gonna have to work on. They can't process that for him. So that's my belief on that, right? But then he's like, and then your sister, Eloise, she definitely attacked me, and she told me this ludicrous thing that you want more children. And she's like, yeah, I've said it before that I want 5 children. And he's like, ugh, that's ridiculous, because I just never liked kids. I guess because of his upbringing, he had divorced parents. Then he's like, there's plenty of kids that could be adopted, and he's just going on a tangent. Just say you don't want kids, full stop. That's valid. However, you sought out a woman with kids. So when she hears this, she's like, okay, but how do you feel about being a stepdad? And she's asked him this 5 times already, and he's like, well, I don't like that idea either.
Do you think this is gonna work? Because I have 2 kids.
I could never be their stepdad. And I think you know that too, deep down.
Yeah.
He says some BS about wanting to be a role model instead of a stepdad. That's not gonna work, because if we live together, you are gonna have to show up to them in a fatherly way. And I don't know how many times Sandra is gonna allow this dumb-looking man to tell her to her face that I don't want your kids. If he doesn't want your kids, he does not want you. He doesn't get to customize this package. I think it is disgusting that, one, he sought out a mother and is complaining that she's a mother. And I think it's disgusting for her to choose a man that is constantly telling you that he's not gonna choose you. I think single moms deserve all the love in the world. I was raised for a long time by my single mom. And then later I had my stepdad. My stepdad doesn't even like when I refer to him as my stepdad. He is like, you are my daughter. That's it. And I never felt a vibe like I was, interrupting, or that my presence wasn't wanted. Nothing like that. And I think it's just so disgusting that she would allow a stranger, because he's a stranger, because he hasn't tried to bond with her kid, with that energy in her space. And I've seen a few people comment that at least he's honest, he's being very clear that he doesn't want kids. Yeah, he's being honest a little too late. Maybe he should have been honest when they started dating and being like, you know what, I need to see my way out. That honesty means nothing if you then went on to have a 2-year relationship with a mother. I am disturbed by that. His honesty means nothing. At this point, it's just nagging, because the kids are not going to disappear. So why be here? Again, single mothers deserve love, but single mothers also deserve partnership. And this man is telling you, when it comes to your kids, don't count on me. And he's being so loud with this disrespect, and I just wished she would pull the plug, but she's just so in love and so consumed by this love, and I want to shake her. I'm not a parent, so I don't know, but I just can't imagine tolerating that. You know what I mean? But now, y'all, this man has been loud and bold saying, I don't want shit to do with your kids, okay? So the next morning, we see them out in the courtyard, and they basically had a tiff because she was getting into it with her daughter, and it was in Portuguese. He claims he heard his name. She's like, we did not say your name. Maybe they did. Maybe the kids were complaining about him. We don't know. But the point is, she didn't want to translate what was happening, because she's like, this has to do with my kids. It's private. You don't need to know. And I agree. I think that her kids did not sign up for this show. I think that as their mother, she should protect them. They didn't consent to their issues being on camera. Also, you literally have said all over that you want nothing to do with these kids. And now he's talking about, oh, you gotta let me in because we're a unit. A unit since when? You've been making it clear that you don't want to be in one. So she was pissed off, right? Because I think that he overstepped. He was asking her to translate. She was like, please back up. I need some space. And he wouldn't. At one point, he was like laughing. He claimed he was laughing because he was uncomfortable. Read the effing room. You are a grown-ass man, right? But then on top of that, he then starts asking the translator on his phone, passing it to her daughter so that she can let him know what's happening. And she's like, I did not want you to know. That was private. And then she's crying because she doesn't want to fight with her man, but also she's pissed, right? And then he is like, oh, you know, I really need to get to learning Portuguese because this could have all been avoided if I knew the language. They've been together for 2 years. 2. He's so unlikable to me, you guys. And I think the producers are trying to give him like some sort of redemption arc. Maybe it's the editors, but I was like, I just don't buy it. It's too late. The next time we see them, they're at the orphanage where they met. The orphanage that she lived in for a large part of her childhood. And it was some really rough conditions. It sounds like she had to do some free child labor. It was really hard, and the reason she survived it, the reason she thugged it out basically was because she had her siblings. They're really close, specifically her and Eloise, because they were the closest in age, so they lived together the longest. And they have been together for 2 years. And this doofus has a revelation like, oh, no wonder you're so close to your family. No wonder she's so protective. And it's like, I have a hard time believing that he's having this revelation when he met her at said orphanage. That's where they met. His sister volunteered here and he came to visit, and that's how he learned about everything. So you're telling me that you didn't understand her rough upbringing? That you wouldn't be able to understand and empathize with her background? And the reason I think that they're trying to make a redemption arc is because he's like, oh, her family is so close, unlike mine. And then he gives a sob story about his dad not being present. And while I feel bad that he didn't have that presence, you don't get to be a terrible person to children all your life because your dad wasn't there. I'm sorry. It is not acceptable for me. And again, we can disagree, and I feel like we might, and that's okay. I find a lot of the things that he said and has said up to now very upsetting, and I just don't care. I really don't. I think what I'm also just like side-eyeing is that they've been together for 2 years, and I don't know if you guys have been in a long-distance relationship, but I have. And when you're in a long-distance relationship, all you have is communication. All you have is your phone, right? And it makes me just like, did you guys not talk about anything? Like, how has this relationship been sustained? How did she not know about your upbringing? How did you not know the details about how hard it was for her? Like, I'm just not buying this, you know? And then the final scene that we see is of them and the kids. They're going horseback riding, right? And it's leading to like this beautiful waterfall. And he's like, yeah, you know, I could have been selfish and just planned a final date for me and Sandra, but I thought I'd give it a go. And Sandra too is like, oh my God, he's so thoughtful. He considered the kids. And I was just like, the bar is in hell. This is bare minimum shit. I was so annoyed. He looked so pleased with himself. Like, I wasn't selfish, go me. Sandra, you are accepting crumbs and I want better for you. But they're looking at this beautiful waterfall. The kiddos are eating ice cream. And she's like, wow, you did good. You'd make a great stepdaddy. And he's like, and she's like, just kidding. He's claiming that he's warming up to the idea of being a stepdad, that her kids are not that annoying. But he's lying. He has an aversion to even the word stepdad. He's making this progress, right? And I'm just like, Sandra, you have been in the pits of hell in this relationship, because she's like, as you go back home, like, we really need to work at this to make it work. Like, you need to call me more. You need to message me more. You need to come more than twice a year. Otherwise, and I'm like, Sandra, let me get this straight. So he hasn't been calling you enough. He hasn't been texting you enough. He hates your kids. Why are you here? He hasn't learned your language. Like, I don't understand. I don't. That's it for this episode. I would love to know your predictions. My prediction is he's gonna go home, he's gonna process what just happened, and he's gonna be like, fuck no, I don't wanna be a stepdad to them kids. And they're gonna break up. Or he's gonna be terrible until she has to break up with him. I don't foresee this going on for a very long time. That's me. I would love to know your thoughts, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.